Alright guys, here we go. Second to last race here. Penultimate race of the Blast from the Past tournament. Been a long journey, and now we're getting close to the end. Print is just staring at nothing. Let's go into the starting order here. We're going to have, I believe, Justin and Commando up front, then Elite, Shift, Opix, Hunter, Roman, Slaunch, Real Deal, Vulcan, and Luke and Detail. Wait, what? In the back, I guess? Yep. Oh, I was going to say the starting order's wrong. We're doing a grenade start here. There it is. Grenade blows. We're going green. Boom. Green flag. Tough start. A lot of people really slow on the inside for some reason. And these starts are always conky on Alpine Run. That wasn't too bad. That wasn't too bad. I've seen worse. Oh, man. And it's all starting to fall apart then. Detail going into this. Oh, launch there in the rumble. Roman going down with them. Collecting Hunter as well. That is very tough. Do the tight chicane. And this is a big race. Remember, Detail goes into this race with a 6-point lead, which is a huge gap with 2 races left, but that's plenty of time for the shot clock cheese. I had to fit that in there. Probably do the squad stream thing for just a race in general too, if more people stream the races, but I don't know if anybody really does that at this point. Side by side here between Luke and Opix through the chicane. That's gonna settle out, and early on in the lead throughout all that cheese of the start, somehow Real Deal ends up in the first place spot. Here we go into the first turn. Oh, it's getting tight. Luke can shift there. And I think that's Vulcan in front of them. I believe that is Vulcan there. Trying to hold on to that spot. Opix and Luke with like a run on the outside, oddly enough. And now they're going to go into the chicane again. These 4 drivers super close. Actually, I have these drivers mixed up. I don't even think that is Shift. That's Vulcan right there. Shift is in front of them. Shift is right there. And he is conking everywhere. So now it's Vulcan and Shift. I can't tell who that driver is up in front. I'll figure that out in a second. And Shift just straight up plows Vulcan into the wall there. And that is unfortunate. Not really fair for Vulcan. Having a really good night. Having a really good second half of the night. Tied together. He got his first podium. He got another 4th at Penitentiary. He's really starting to heat up. Looking strong here at the start of Alpine, and then that just kind of conks him. He's kind of conked now. Like, there's not really much he can do. That's Elite. So Elite's still in front. Shift here. And this is all, I'm sure, gaining Real Deal tons of time. He's going to have a huge lead. This is really congesting the pack as well. And Shift, just, I don't know what he was trying to do there, but he goes down. That's going to cost him quite a few positions. Battle up there. Elite and Luke side by side. Still with the close side by side battle. Detail is also starting to creep into the picture, which is what he needs to do. Minimize those points. Losses. Luke is in front right now, but Detail can gain these positions between them. And close, but Detail's going to get by Opix in the chicane. That is a huge pass to make. Now he's going to set his sights on Elite. And Real Deal with a huge lead out in the start. Looking strong here. Potentially can take that win that he's been looking for that has eluded him here throughout tonight. Just a rough night overall from Real Deal. That second place at the last race is pretty much the only thing he's had going for him. And maybe now he can continue that momentum here at the end. Roman and Opix getting close with each other. Roman's going to hold on to that. Vulcan's starting to creep back into the picture. Try to regain some of those spots that he lost. And work his way back into the battle. Now Detail and Elite. This is a big pass. If Detail makes this pass, it looks like he will. That's pretty much, that's as few points as he can lose on Luke right there. If you can stay one position behind him. So that is a huge pass right there on Elite. Puts him in a perfect position for this race, as he's got a huge points lead for these last 2 races. He just got to manage it. And now the top 3 are super gapped. Super gapped. Real Deal still with a pretty immense lead, but a lot of time left in this race, I'm sure. But that is that's a big lead to catch up to. Huge pack here too behind the top 3. Got 4 or 5 drivers going at it right here. Roman now trying to get by Elite. Roman had a really good, like, he was just progressively getting better throughout the night. These last couple races, he's kind of fallen off a bit. Now he's trying to redeem himself yet again here at Alpine. He's going to lose that spot there. Opix is actually going to take advantage and work his way into 4th. So a well-timed move there from Opix, and Elite gets loose on the exit of that corner. Not where I'm expecting him to get loose. That allows Roman to potentially make a move around the outside here. He's got the momentum, if he can hold on to it. And Vulcan's creeping into this too. Roman does not want to allow Elite any breathing room. He wants to hold that spot, and it looks like he will. Now Vulcan's going to creep back into the picture. And Shift as well. Or is that Shift? I actually can't tell at this point. Might even be Sector, dude. Oh no, super loose from Vulcan. Oh my goodness. Goes down. That might be his race right there. And what's this? Real Deal must have made a huge mistake. Real Deal's not even in the lead anymore. Real Deal's now down to 2nd. Let's see what happened. Oh my goodness. Real Deal a lapse of focus here. And just completely conks going back to the straightaway. Just barely taps it in the wrong way. Full dismount. And he's going to lose 1st place. And now potentially compete for 2nd with Detail. And that is Real Deal's best opportunity all night to finally take that win down the drain. And that's tough. That is really tough. And now this makes the championship even more interesting, because the way Luke can gain the most points here is by getting a win. You get that extra point for a win with this old point system that we went to for tonight's tournament. So that is the best thing that he can do to gain as many points as possible. Even if Detail gets 2nd, his best chance is to take that win to minimize the gap going into Grizzly as much as possible. It's still going to be a big gap, but it's going to be a bit more workable, which could set us up for a very interesting Grizzly race, I'm sure. Especially the fact that Grizzly's the last race is just crazy as it is. Tournament starts and ends on an oval. And now Detail, he needs to get by Real Deal here to minimize those points as much as possible, get those crucial 2nd place finishes. Oh, Real Deal running him down a little bit, protecting the line, not making it easy. But a lot of time left in this race. Although Luke's probably pretty much, unless he pulls a Real Deal, pretty much gone with the lead at this point. The really important thing here for Detail is to make this 2nd place pass. Going into the chicane here might open up an opportunity for him. I love those drivers going over the bridge above him. That's dope. Not quite yet. Real Deal holds off. Yet another lap. And then he conks. Wow, Real Deal. Snakes watch. Snakes watch. Battle for 4 starting to heat up. Opix and Roman. Roman, like I said, really good. Like, was just improving throughout the night. Then he had a rough start to his penitentiary race. Had a really rough performance at Treppin. And now he's trying to get it back here at Alpine Run. See if he can recover. Oh, tire in the track slightly. We'll have to get the track crew on that. Solange is retired from the race at this point. He's coming in hot to deal with the tire. Nice efficient move right there. Gets it out of the way for the drivers. And the race will be able to resume without that obstacle being an issue. Commando potentially going to get lapped here. That's surprising to see on this track. I did not expect much of lap traffic issues coming into play, but looks like it might be a thing for Commando at least. I unfortunately forgot the time. I think it was 4 minutes. I think we're about 3 minutes remaining plus a lap here. That'd be my guess. I think that is correct. So not too much time left remaining, like last quarter of the race here or so. And most of the important championship positions have kind of settled out at this point, so I'm kind of just going to watch these back positions here as they've had a good battle all race, and it looks like a lot of these positions are still up for grabs as well. Alpine Run, a track that we potentially will not see raced again after this, so it's kind of cool here seeing it again one last final time. Very, very classic track on Halo 5, about as classic as it gets for GP, like one of the first tracks to be raced, one of the first tracks made. A lot of FLR action, a lot of early HRL action, a grand final race here. Definitely a memorable track for some of the veterans of the series. Fun fact, Detail first overall win was actually on this track in its grand finals race. Wow, that driver just got completely conked. Was that Justin? That was Justin. And Rebel actually got his first moto win on a GP here in that same event. It's a little fun fact there. Thought that was interesting. And I don't know if it was the first time, but it was probably one of the first times. It might have been the very first time. Detail actually won the overall here without a moto win. So that wasn't very common, but that did go down here. I don't think it was the first time that happened, but it was one of the times that happened. We saw that happen a few times. It wasn't too often, but sometimes you'd see a driver just have a really consistent night. The drivers that win the motos have one off moto, and you would see that that happen where a driver would not take a moto win but still take the overall. Roman getting really intense here at this battle with Opix. Wants to take that position. Not a lot of time remaining, less than a minute plus that lap. Roman trying to get some extra points here. And he's running pretty well in the points. With his up and downs, he's running pretty well in the points. Potentially this last race could compete for that third place spot. Really trying to make a statement here. Oh, nice chicane run. That might be Gucci. Opix having a really nice run around the outside, though. But Roman's keeping it close. Roman to the inside, and he might have him cleared there. Roman's going to finally take that position on Opix after a long battle that they've had. They may not even be done quite yet. This is going to be close. I'm going to watch this and see if it's one lap left. Okay, yes. So I think we are coming to the white flag here. White flag of Alpine Run. Take a look at the stripe for a second. Luke potentially taking his third win of the night. Finally coming back after a hot start. Coming back at the very end to make things interesting for these last couple races. Through the chicane a final time. And that is going to be it. Luke's going to take the win here at Alpine Run. Maybe. Oh, is there another lap left? Did I get the time wrong? There's another lap left. Oh, shat. Oh, my goodness. We've been played. I think this is for sure last lap now, though. I think it's because it started at like 4:20. But it started at 4 minutes. I think it was like 4:20 or something like that. So here we go. Actual final time. I'm like pretty sure this time. Alright? Pretty sure. And deja vu. Luke's going to take the win here at Alpine Run. Detail will come in second. Real Deal falling up to third. And Roman will hold on to that 4th place spot. A great battle between him and Opix throughout the race. Opix with the 5th. Looking 2 5ths actually on the GPs throughout the night. Hunter was 6th. Let me get the rest of these results up. And final results from that point on be Vulcan 7th, Shift 8th, Elite 9th, Justin 10th, Commando 11th, and Slaunch retiring from the race with that 12th place finish. Alright guys, so here we go. Final race of the Blast from the Past tournament. Going into this race, Detail with a 3-point gap on Luke, so still a pretty solid gap, but a workable gap. We could see something crazy happen here at Grizzly for this final race for the tournament. Blast from the Past here. We got Commando and Sector, Elite and Shift, Vulcan and Hunter, Opix and Roman, Real Deal and Detail, and Luke rounding out the field. Slaunch retiring as well for this final race at Grizzly. And here they go, nice and steady pace to the line. Potentially one last race at Grizzly here. We're green. Plenty of crazy races at Grizzly in the past. Some of the most insane racing that we've seen, with some of the craziest finishes that we've seen. Just super tight, compact racing on this track. Kind of feels like, to me, the Bristol of Halo 5 is what this track really reminds me of. And I think we'll see more of that here in this final race, especially for some of the other drivers. It's literally been Luke and Detail on the top spot of the podium. This is the last chance here for another driver to take a win tonight, which I'm sure all these drivers that haven't been on the top spot would want to do. And this is a great track for anybody to win at. And a driver goes down, some contact there. That is going to definitely be our first caution of the night. Detail actually collected in that one. It's early, but that's going to cost him a bit. Put him back towards the back of the pack, not where he wants to be. We're going to get this restart going right now, early off in the race. Detail's in last. Luke's there in the middle of the pack. Detail's got a lot of work to do, but there's a lot of time left. And green flag. This is also the version of Grizzly with the pit road that never got raced, probably because that pit road is freaking cheese. Look at that pit road. I really tried my best. Don't even know what the entrance and exit is. So lots of 3 wides here off of the start. Almost like a 4 wide there. This is getting super close up front. And then we've got those 2 drivers in the back. They're kind of just witnessing this, like, where do we go? Is what they're thinking right now. Because this is just stupid up here. Literally 4 wide right there. Detail on the inside of it, though. He's going to take advantage, gain a lot of crucial positions right there. One driver lagging to the back, and this is going super well for Detail. He may even catch himself on the inside of another 4 wide with potentially Luke on the outside. The tables have turned here at Grizzly, and this could put Detail in a very, very good position. He went from a very bad position to a very good position in just a couple of laps. And there it is, 3 wide. Can Luke hold on to the outside of it? Detail's just barely getting his tire on the inside there. And that is the battle for the championship, but Detail looking strong early on. The crossover, though, Luke does not want to give it up even early in the race here. There's plenty of time left, but does not want to give any chance. Detail thinking the same way with the retaliation crossover. Luke going for it again. This battle's not over. Real Deal's going to even work his way into it. And Real Deal could possibly screw things up for Detail there, but then Luke's going to have to run the inside again. Oh my god, this battle's insane. And while all this is going down, Elite and Roman are having a crazy battle up front for the lead. Oh my god, this is just a crazy finale race here. And this is a lot of the times we've seen it in the grand finals. We've had quite a few grand finals races come down to the last race, but for like a regular season type thing, we haven't really seen that happen in a while, in like a long time, where it comes down to the last race where the turn. I don't even remember the last time that's happened for the regular season. Again, we have seen it a lot in the past grand finals, like particularly what sticks out for me. I don't remember what grand finals it was, if it was season 6 or 7, but the one that went down to Frommel, that one went down to the last race, or maybe it was Formal, I don't know, whichever one. The one with Slaunch and Fireball came down to the last race with Guercos. We've seen that happen in the grand finals a lot, but with a big tournament like this, that doesn't always happen. But this is basically like an 8-race mini season here, and it's literally coming down to the last event, last race, and Detail's looking strong. And he's now, while I've been going on that monologue, Detail's worked his way into the top spots here. He's in podium position, potentially battling for second here and the lead. So Detail looking strong here early in Grizzly, trying to clutch up here for this tournament. And he goes to the inside. Detail taking no prisoners here, looking very strong early on, and taking the lead here at Grizzly. Detail not letting anything get in the way. He wants to come out strong early on and then hold on to this lead for the rest of the race and just take that championship. And if he takes this race too, that'd be 5 wins in the tournament. That's crazy as well. Oh, he's getting a little loose on the outside though. Maybe this risky line that he's running will come back to bite him. Very dangerous. He's got a lot of speed, but like I said, very dangerous. Just a little tiny mistake and he could completely screw up his race. Roman and Elite, that's what's helping him right now. Roman and Elite are still duking it out for second and third, which regardless of what happens to Detail, that's going to allow him to gain as they're going at it. And Luke and Vulcan starting to creep into the picture as well. Potentially a little reach draft teammate action there to try to get themselves into the podium spot. And it's definitely going to take a crash. I think it's going to take a caution here to really get them back into this race. If this race goes green, I think Detail's looking really good. But Luke and Vulcan just trying to stay in a good position in case there is a caution, to where they could be in a good spot for that restart, have a really good restart position and take advantage of that and work their way back into this. Let's get a good overall view here. Detail starting to catch up to lap traffic. That could cost him. Oh yeah, I haven't done this view in a while. I like doing this at Grizzly. Look at how separated it's gotten. A lot of little packs here. Oh my god. I love that the freaking commands work in the Discord. Phil just got conked. So we're going to keep this overhead view for a little bit. So we're going to catch any cheese that goes down. I actually love this view of Grizzly though. This is dope. Imagine like a 16-man pack at Grizzly with this view. Like, oh man, it's just crazy. Really, really a small track. Really tight, really compact. Great racing here. And lap traffic is getting nutty. And Detail catching up to more lap traffic. Eventually going to slow him down even more. But he's been dominating the early half of this race, doing what he needs to do to clutch up this championship. But this battle that he's having here with the blue flagger of Real Deal is really holding him off and costing him a ton of time. And that, Real Deal even gets him in the wall there. And that puts Roman back in the picture. Roman now working his way by Detail and taking the lead back. The potential cheese from Real Deal now putting Detail in a super rough spot here, as he now has to battle for the lead, whereas before he was checked out. And Roman's even holding on to it. He's taking it now. Detail fighting back with that insane momentum of that risky line that he takes, going for a nicely timed crossover right there. Roman going to retaliate, and we have a caution out on the track, and Roman will be the leader going into that caution restart. That is huge. That has just shook everything up. So now we're going to get to this caution restart with still a lot of time remaining, still like a little under 5 minutes remaining, so still a lot of racing left, and this is going to make things very interesting. We're now going to have Detail in that second place outside starting spot with Luke there in third, was able to work his way to third throughout all that battling. And yeah, that's crazy. Detail was really looking to have things locked up, and now It's gotten interesting yet again. Green flag. With a little under 5 minutes remaining. Detail already going for that risky outside line. He's going to try to take advantage of it, but those drivers on his inside forcing him up a little bit. It's getting really risky at this point. But you can tell, if he can really dial it in, he's got that speed, but then Luke comes up with a slide job that loses Detail a ton of speed. He's going to have to regain that. Now he's got a ton of drivers coming out in front of him, and it is all going to chat there for Detail after that slide job. He is now losing a ton of positions, and the amount of positions that he has between him and Luke right now is probably enough. So he's got to work some of these, and now he's losing a ton more time. That line is really starting to fall out of favor. He's making a few mistakes here now too, and he's got to really rally up and get it going here, because if he doesn't, this is looking very dangerous. That is definitely enough drivers between Luke and Detail to get Luke that position of Detail with another mistake, going 2 wheels on the wall. He knows that he's in jeopardy, and now he's in a position to where he has to risk it every single lap, which is potentially going to force more mistakes out of him because he just needs to go for it at this point. This is not good. He needs to get past Sector and Commando here as soon as possible, and then he needs to set his sights on that 3 wide in front of him before they settle out, because once they settle out, it's going to be really hard to catch up to them. Detail probably already at this point hoping for a caution, but he knows that his chances are in jeopardy. He's got to get back up to that high line, and he needs to start risking it again, and he needs to nail it every single lap if he wants to have hope of getting back into this battle. Look at this. We've got 3 drivers, Real Deal, Vulcan, and Elite there between Luke and Detail, which is enough. That is enough for Luke to take this championship by just a point or 2. Detail needs to get back into it as soon as possible. And look at that. He's already stretched a ton of time on that pack that he was just in. You can tell when he really risks it, he can be very fast at that line, but it's, like I said though, it's very risky. He's getting a ton of time here, but he cannot make any mistakes. One little mistake again could be costly. But look at this. And there it is. 2 wheels on the wall, and that's going to cost him a ton of time. He's going to have to regroup yet again, and he did not need that. He was really getting the momentum there. He was really getting it under control. He was gaining a ton of time. He was already pretty much there almost. Just a couple more laps, he would have been there at that pack, but that mistake again is going to cost him a ton of time, and things are starting to fall out of favor here with Detail. He needs to regroup yet again, start railing those lines yet again if he wants hope of catching back up to this. And look at this. This battle for the front is really spicing up too, because Luke's not safe either. He's got Real Deal and a hungry Elite and Vulcan behind him, and then he's got Opix and Roman really duking it out, trying to steal a win here in this final race in front of him, and potential lap traffic as well with Hunter there in the lead. Not what you want to see if you're Hunter in the lead. Roman in the lead, but Hunter going to slow down the lead drivers here. Roman gets by him pretty safe. Opix as well. Gonna have to lap him now. 2 Real Deal going inside there, and Vulcan goes down, but clean and green, not a caution, and that shakes things up. Because now Detail gets by Vulcan. That's another point for Detail, which is gonna close him in on that gap a little bit, but I think he still is gonna need at least another position to tie things up here. So Vulcan going down there makes things interesting, but not quite enough still, and there's still another minute and 20 seconds left to go. So that's gonna make things a bit tighter. But still, Detail's going to have to hope for a little bit more here. Maybe for Elite or Real Deal to go down to make things even more interesting. And you have an interesting situation here up front as well, where Luke doesn't even know, like, oh, Roman with a lag spike. Now Opix has closed in that gap a ton from that. We'll have to see if that lag cheese settles out for Roman, because if it doesn't, that could spell disaster for his race. And like I said, we have an interesting situation up front because Luke does not know where Detail is at this point. For all he knows, he's right behind him. So this is going to be, I think he's safe right now, but this is going to be, this is going to put him in a situation where he might want to try to make a move for the lead that he doesn't even need to make. And this is where these point battles get super interesting at this point, where you get put in these situations where you don't even know what you need to do. And look at this, the clock is starting to run out. We have about 25 seconds left before that 1 to go marker, and Elite and Real Deal are still duking it out, and this is giving Detail a chance, but right at the end, he slides 2 wheels out of the track. He was getting so close there at the end, but that is going to be it for his chances. At this point, he's going to have to rely on a late race caution there. That is so unfortunate because he was just pulling it up there at the end. I think he was just going to catch up to them on literally the last lap. That could have been the clutchest, most insane thing ever. But unfortunately, it is not going to happen. I think Roman hitting the white flag there, coming to the line, and Roman's going to win the race here at Grizzly, and Luke takes the second place spot on Opix right at the end, and that was super unfortunate there. That was a crazy finish because Detail he would just close it in and make a mistake every time, and that's what happened there at the end. You see how close that got. It just reeled them in the entire time. And look at how close this gets. There's literally like 30 seconds left plus a lap, and he's there. Like, I mean, he's still got a few goose lengths to go, but if they keep battling and he keeps gaining like he is, he'll probably get there. He'll probably get there in the final lap. I mean, you can just tell by the way he's railing these walls right here. Yeah, I think he definitely would have caught him on literally the last lap, but then right here, he just goes for it, just a little too much, slides out on the track. That is not the place. Imagine if he slid out entirely right there. That could have been a caution, which would have been insane. If he slid out right there, falls off the track, that literally would have been a caution, which would have thrown him to the back. But that, I don't know, that could have spiced things up. But fortunately for the rest of the field, he makes the mistake at just the perfect spot, and unfortunately for him, that's going to cost his chances at the championship. And that is going to settle things out here at Grizzly for the final race of the night. Wow, that got a little intense at the end. I didn't realize the first time I went through this how close he got. Like, that actually got super close. So there we go. Final results for Grizzly. Gonna be Roman, Luke, Opix, Real Deal, Elite, Detail, Vulcan, Justin, Commando, Shift, Hunter, and technically Slaunch there in the back. No, this is not an HRL history episode. I just forgot to save it, so I had to redo it here. That's what I'm gonna do right after this. I'm gonna save this so I can just have the highlight because I fudged it. So final results, closing things out here. Was a really great little tournament here to the end, but Luke's going to end up on top with 129 points. Detail super close at the end. Like I said, he literally needed those two spots. If he caught them and he just made a crazy last lap move to get by them both, that would have put them in a tie. Imagine if that happened. Imagine if Detail makes a double last lap pass and Luke makes the last lap pass on Opix to put them in a tiebreaker scenario. That would have been crazy. I think Detail would have had it, but that would have just been a crazy way to end the night. But unfortunately, it doesn't happen. We still have a super close finish, though. And a close finish for third as well. Roman with the win there at the end. Made it very close, but Real Deal holds on to that third place spot with 103 points. Roman with 101. Vulcan comes out with the fifth place performance with 88 points. An up and down night from Vulcan. Roller coaster ride, but ends up finishing the top 5. Sure, he's satisfied with that. Slaunch with the 80 points. Had to retire towards the end, which costed him. Probably could have held on to that top 5 spot, but you know, like I said, that's unfortunately going to cost him. He still gets that tiebreaker over Hunter for 7th, also with 80 points, which is pretty crazy. Opix in 8th with 78 points, not really able to recover from that St. Louis lag out. Without that St. Louis lag out, maybe it could have been really close here. Maybe he could have took the 6th place spot, but wasn't able to really recover from that point on. Even if he held on to that second on the last lap, he would have been 1 point short. So it made it close, but not enough. Elite with some good oval performances, not too great on the other tracks. Going to come out in 9th with 76 points. Like I said, though, not to like take anything away from him, really solid oval performances, which could be big. Could be big for his team that he ends up on, which ends up what didn't happen at this point for this tournament, but Elite does end up being the 4th for team. Now it was Filibuster, now we are not Elite, so those oval performances could be very important going into their team championship for that season. Shift with the 10th place, 60 points. Justin with the 11th place, 53. Commando with the 12th place, 47, rounding out the field for the tournament there. Pretty dope tournament. Really good attorney to get the hype rolling into Season 11. And that's going to close it out. Boom.